But first, a story you'll only see here on NBC Charlotte, a Defender's investigation finding that thousands of men, women, and teens are currently enrolled in a program aimed at reversing homosexuality.
So-called conversion therapy is almost always led by religious leaders and is currently practiced in the form of camps, classes, and one-on-one counseling. 15 states have some law against it, but here in the Carolinas, it's still happening. NBC Charlotte's Savannah Levins spoke with gay Carolinians who consider themselves survivors of these practices, and with local therapists who truly believe you can pray the gay away.
Having to lie, I feel, is the saddest and the ugliest part of being a homosexual. You can't go to your brother or your sister and say, I'm hurting.
Based on the way that homosexuality was addressed from the pulpit, I believe that though everyone was broken, I was a little more broken than everybody else because my particular sin was an abomination.
Joshua Crocker says he didn't want to be gay.
It was something that I had to overcome, had to get rid of, had to fix. I wanted a solution.
After 2 decades hiding his secret, he began meeting with a conversion counselor based in Greenville, South Carolina.
I believed that that was something that I might be able to experience victory over if I prayed hard enough, believed hard enough, studied the right things.
Conversion or reparative therapy, the idea that homosexuality can be fixed, has been around since the late 1800s when cures included lobotomy and castration. Today, it more often manifests in the form of faith-based camps or counseling sessions.
Those conversations with that counselor just kind of, it reinforced that idea that I'm inherently gross.
Recently, the effectiveness of conversion therapy has been widely discredited and criticized. Some studies have directly linked it to suicide.
I remember driving back to my apartment, just weeping and yelling and being so angry and frustrated and sad. And I remember yelling at God while I was in my car going down the highway and just asking him why he hadn't fixed me yet. And I started thinking through where I could crash my vehicle and what bridges would be easiest to run off of and how I could do it in a way that makes sure I don't make it.
We don't have to act on our feelings, and that's the message of our ministry.
Malia Allard is the executive director of New Beginning Support Ministry and a network of so-called ex-gay counselors that spans the Carolinas.
We're here for people who have faith and they have unwanted same-sex attractions or unwanted gender identity disorder.
Our message is about freedom from homosexuality through Jesus Christ.
Malia prefers to see her work as faith-based counseling for people struggling with their sexual identity rather than, quote, conversion therapy.
Do you think anyone can change that if they try hard enough?
Do I believe you can pray the gay away?
We're gonna turn you all straight because you're all gay kids, and that's a problem, okay?
I believe if a person is motivated and they're willing to surrender to their Savior and trust Him, I believe He's capable of changing it.
That belief, she says, comes from firsthand experience.
I had lived as a lesbian woman from the time that I was 18 until I was about 28, but I made a choice to not act on those attractions anymore.
She says that's what her ministry is helping others accomplish.
Could you kind of talk to people who think that the church hates gay people?
If people are gay and they're happy, our ministries are not there for them. More power to you. We're happy for you that you're happy.
15 states and D.C. have some law against conversion counseling, particularly when it relates to minors. But in both Carolinas, parents can legally enroll their children in these camps and programs.
Parents will drag their teenagers into my office, and their goal is typically for me to fix them. The kid has to convince me they want to be there. They can't be being manipulated or coerced.
Human rights groups say there are still some active conversion organizations that use physical and emotional abuse in their camps and their sessions.
I'm not negating the fact that there have been some people practicing those methods that have behaved in ways that were wrong, but my ministry doesn't.
For some who have gone through it, like Joshua,
It was rough. It It was rough.
The therapy was not a saving grace. It was agony.
If you could go back and talk to that 20-something-year-old guy who was driving down the road crying, begging to be fixed, what would you say?
I would tell him he's not broken and that nothing good grows in the darkness. Nothing good grows in the darkness.
Glory, glory, hallelujah.
I am learning to be a full person for the first time in my life.
My life is totally transformed.
Glory, glory, hallelujah.
I really love myself, probably for the first time ever.
And now, finally, I like myself for the first time in my life.
I mean, it really finally comes down to finding one other person to love and be loved by, and you serve each other's needs.
That was Savannah Levins reporting, and we checked, and neither North or South Carolina currently have any proposed legislation that would restrict conversion therapy. We'll post Savannah's entire story inside the NBC Charlotte mobile app and on our website, WCNC.com.